Hi everyone, my name's Shamash and today we're exploring hope and 6 ways to cultivate more hope. See you in 30 seconds. Hi, I'm Shamash, author of Mindfulness for Dummies, and we're going through all the different days of November and thinking of new ways of connecting to November. And we've gone through all of these different days. And today we finally made it. We managed to do it every single day. Today's the 30th, and you might not be able to see it there, but today's the final practice for this month, which is about looking for new reasons to find hope, even in difficult times. So I'll start with little metaphor actually. You can think of hope as almost like a seed. So imagine if you're planting a seed, and the more you care for it, the more you nurture it, the more that seed is likely to germinate and grow and become a healthy tree. And it's a little bit like that in our own minds and hearts with hope. You can, ignore hope and not cultivate that sense of hope within you, or you can really take care of it, nurture it, cultivate more hope in your life. And it's not easy, especially in these times. We're not saying it's easy, but we are saying that it is possible, and it is to cultivate more hope. You just need to start really small, do tiny things, and step by step, just like with a seed, you just need to water it a little bit. And if you can, daily or every couple of days, and over time, it grows, it nurtures. And I'm going to be sharing with you 6 ways to actually cultivate that. So how do we cultivate more hope? Well, first of all, to nurture hope, the seed of hope within you, you need to manage your negative thoughts, particularly your hopeless thoughts. And the best way that I know how to do that is through doing mindful practices. So it could be through mindful movements like yoga, tai chi, qigong. It could be through mindful meditations. It could be doing some other kind of spiritual practices maybe you have, but something that helps you to step out from that normal thinking patterns which just run by themselves and come into the here and now, or to focus on something different. It's almost like a training for your brain. And so that's one way of nurturing it, one main way of nurturing it. Another way to become more aware of those thoughts and what thoughts are popping up is actually doing some journaling. And there's loads of really nice evidence to show that when you kind of sit down and either once a week or once every few days, or if possible daily for a little bit, doing some journaling, allowing those thoughts to come out and to see them from a different perspective can really help. It's almost like you're having a conversation with yourself, and you can reason with yourself a little bit more. And that could be a nice way to observe. And then maybe you start writing a few things that are hopeful in there. So you start cultivating that sense of hope within you. Second one is to learn to cope with challenges. So I'm just looking here at a blog post about this, which is to practice improving your frustration, tolerance, patience, and waiting. Check your potential thinking errors when you're in a certain situation. If you find yourself negative forecasting, which is like, thinking about the future and seeing it in a more negative rather than hopeful outlook, remind yourself to stop and come back to the moment. Practice waiting to look at your phone or waiting to do anything impulsively that may fuel your level of frustration. So that sense of, just slowing down and stepping back a bit rather than rushing in, especially when your thoughts are maybe more hopeless. This is the third one, and this really helped me, and I'm sure many others, which is, if you can, even in a small way, contribute positively to someone else's life. I remember when the early lockdowns were happening, all my plans kind of went out the window, all the travel plans that I had, all the different ways I was going to teach. And it's a small thing, but it did have an impact. And so at first it was difficult, but then the opportunity to be able to help and support others through that was a helpful thing for me too. So if you can do even small things to positively to contribute to someone else's life, saying a thank you, sending a nice note, doing something positive, helping them out, that is good for them and it's good for you. So it's just a win-win situation happening there. And if you can't motivate yourself to do something big, do something small and learn to recognize that those small steps are significant, and then you'll be more motivated to do them. Fourthly, try and surround yourself with other positive people. If you know people that are a bit more positive, a bit more hopeful, a bit more likely to see the bright side of things, then it's kind of more likely to rub off on you as well. Look at your friends, family, and determine who gives you a more positive lens. I know sometimes we can't control that, and we have to spend our time with people which tend to see more of the negative. But try and balance that if you can. And if you can't find connections in your life in person, then maybe online. People that see things in a more hopeful outlook can really, really help. And just going on from that, just thinking, if you're always watching the news, they tend to focus more on the negative rather than understatement for much of the news. So you might want to reduce a bit of that, and that can actually increase your hope. There's also news channels that I mentioned before that actually focus on not just the negative news, but what's the positive things happening. Because that doesn't sell so many newspapers and magazines, they're a bit harder to find. But when you do find them, they're a wonderful place to be, and they usually have great communities. The ones that come to mind are Positive News, The Happy Newspaper, servicespace.org, Karuna Virus, and Karuna means compassion, so spreading compassion through stories. There might be some others as well. Maybe someone can share in the chat places where they share positive news or positive stories. Really awesome. And finally, the last tip for cultivating more hope in your life, seeing things in a more hopeful way, imagining that seed of hope which is within you and watering a little bit more, is to concentrate on what is working in your life. Okay, when we practice gratitude, we start looking out for, actually, I've got the internet right now, or I'm able to watch a YouTube video, or I actually understand language, or I'm actually well enough to be able to understand another person, or I'm alive for another day, or I've got a roof over my head, or I'm not well, but I've actually got some medication that can help me, or there's hope for this pandemic because there's vaccines out which are seem to be very effective. So there's always other things that you can see which are actually good. Even in the darkest of situations, we have a negativity bias. Our mind is always going to think on the one thing that's not going well, or the few things that are not going well. And there's always a whole bunch of things that are going well, which we don't tend to focus on and we don't tend to value. So let's learn to value those little things that make a big difference. The running water that we have, the food that we have, the shelter that we have, the opportunity to help others, the chance to be able to watch this. These are all things that we do have, and so we can turn towards that. Great. Well, thank you so much for listening and for contributing over the month. I really, really appreciated it. It's been so nice to have some of you along the journey for November. I'm not sure if we'll be doing the same approach in December. Probably we'll be doing something slightly different. I'm not sure if we'll go through the calendar. If we do, then you'll see me popping up talking about it. But we are going to most likely talk about hope in December and mindfulness, and also talking about luck as well, and the science of luck, and how to become luckier, and learning a bit more about the science of luck and how we can use those principles to cultivate a luckier life, which is good for us and good for other people, a more grateful life and a more hopeful life. So it'll be much of this similar stuff. What else? And we're going to be having a mindful New Year's Eve experience that we're organizing for the end of next month, because tomorrow is December. The other thing is that we're starting the new month of the Daily Mindfulness Club today. So if you're interested in that, then check out my website, shamshaldin.com, and see if you can find the Daily Mindfulness Club. I think the website's dailymindfulnessclub.com. So if you want to join in a daily meditation and maybe some mindful movement every day, you can join in that. And as I said, share in the comments if you've got any other suggestions for positive news pages. Someone here said they've started following Goodable on Twitter, Goodable. Lovely good news page, as you can see here. That's great. I love it when people share things like that. Thank you so much. So really appreciate it. As I said, very grateful for the journey. Thank you for your time and for your ideas. It's been really, really fun trying these new things every day in November. And some days have been more challenging than others, but it's been fun practicing every single day. Really appreciate your time and presence. And hopefully we'll continue tomorrow in December with a different theme and some different ideas, and we'll see how it goes. All right. Have a great day. See you tomorrow, and bye for now.